Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name's Keir Smith. Now for today's video I'm going to talk about an album that the critics certainly love to hate, and I'm not too sure that many Bowie fans think that much of this album either. It's 1987's Never Let Me Down. It's rare that you'll find a good review for this album, and in those many best Bowie album polls then you'll probably find this at the bottom of the list, if not close to. It doesn't help the album that just a few years after its release, Bowie quickly distanced himself from it, saying that he regretted making the album. And years later, he again said that he regretted letting go of the artistic reins and being led towards a more mainstream kind of sound. Now, admittedly, up until a month ago, I'd not played this album in a good 4 or 5 years. But as always, when it's an artist that I really admire, like David Bowie, then I'll always go back and listen to those lesser albums, if you will, just to see if I'm missing something. And when I pulled this album out for a listen, I remember thinking to myself, this album has 3 really good tracks as I remember it. And of course, I'll come to them in a short while. So with that said, let's get into it. David Bowie, Never Let Me Down from 1987. So the album opens with what was the lead single for the album, Day In, Day Out. Well, this certainly sets the tone for the album with heavy drums, jarring synths in this case, and a call and answer phrasing which I never much liked. Bowie adopts a stern and authoritative vocal, and the female backing vocals answer that call. The lyrical content's okay. It speaks of a young girl who sets off in the big bad world and struggles to find her way, struggles with money and turns to drugs and possibly worse. The song never really shifts gear, so to speak, and doesn't really go anywhere. It's an average song washed up in heavy production. Much better is another single taken from the album, the following track, Time Will Crawl. I love this track. Always have, always will. I think it's a great Bowie song. Good tempo. I like the stuttering keyboard line. I love the saxophone that permeates the song. The chanted chorus is fantastic, and I really like those sharp guitar licks that greet the second chorus. And that lyrics always stayed with me through the years. I don't know why. We only smelt the gas as we lay down to sleep. Another good one next with the sleazy beat of your drum. And this is catchy, a good melody. Bowie's in good voice, and I'll bang the drum for this one. And I rather like those insistent thudding drums, but especially the tempo shift that moves into the chorus. I like the smell of your flesh. I like the dirt that you dish. I like the clothes that you wear. I'd like to beat on your drum. I'd beat it. I beat it. And it's got a really good saxophone solo too, which I'm not averse to. The title track is next, and I sometimes like this, and then sometimes I knock a point off it, if you know what I mean. It's a kind of slick, up-tempo, but slightly mawkish ballad, dragged down, I think, by Bowie's semi-falsetto vocal. I must say that what sounds like slap bass always makes me feel a bit uneasy, and that rather odd vocal part in the chorus, that's a bit weird. But I do like that harmonica part in the chorus, and that whistled outro is pleasant enough. And from Heroes to Zeros, closing side 1 of the original LP is Zeros. I think this is really good. It's rousing and anthemic. Tonight, the Zeros will be singing for you. And I think that Bowie's being influenced by Prince here. He also sings the line, and me, my little red Corvette, has driven by. He also sings, my rainy day girl is feeling down and something good is happening, I don't know what it is, which could be a reference to the Bob Dylan songs Ballad of a Thin Man and Rainy Day Women numbers 12 and 35. It sounds like Bowie's having a bit of fun with this one. I really like the twangy sitar sound throughout this song, and the rising harmonies are fantastic, and Peter Frampton, on lead guitar no less, plays some fantastic solos. And I do like the repetition of the words doesn't matter on the fade out. Yeah, this one gets a big tick from me. I really like it. Don't you hear this wasted cry? Up until 1 century ago, there lived in the Zhejiang province of Eastern Country a glass-like spider. Yes, Bowie's eerie spoken word intro leads into the brilliant Glass Spider. This is dramatic and theatrical, and I love it. The pounding of the drums and the throb of that synth bass and Bowie's vocals. Wow. Mommy, come back 'cause the water's all gone. Ja, 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 ja. It's great. And 2/3 of the way through the song, when you think it's fading out and it's going to finish, that screeching guitar solo comes in. Superb. This song gets put down because of the negative press that surrounded the Glass Spider tour. And Bowie opens the show with this song and emerges from the mouth of this huge spider on stage, singing this song into a telephone. But if you're watching this video and you haven't listened to Never Let Me Down in a long time, then at least play this song, just for me. Now, some of you may laugh, but I put Glass Spider in my top 20 favourite David Bowie songs. And I'm always very keen to point out that David Bowie is a sensational vocalist. He's got a great range, and this song showcases that. Shining Star, Making My Love is next, and this is a really up-tempo, catchy, finger-snapping, toe-tapping piece of Bowie pop. And Bowie sings the words so quickly that it's easy to miss the lyrical content here, which is rather harrowing. Eddie boy, lit like paraffin, spending 2 weeks in a crack house, burns on his brain. Dean was seen with a 2-bag purchase. He was lying dead on his mother's bed. In particular, I really like the lyric on the pre-chorus where Bowie sings, life is like a broken arrow, memory, a swinging door. When I was listening back to this song, I was thinking to myself, this is so jaunty and happy. It's almost like Bowie's doing his Walking on Sunshine. And towards the end of the song, we also get a spoken word rap from the famous actor Mickey Rourke, which is a bit bizarre, but I'll take it. The harmonies are really good on this song, and yeah, I like it. That's one of the things I like about this album. It's very diverse. If you think the last 3 songs that I've spoke about are Zeros, Glass Spider and Making My Love, they're all very different. New York's in Love is next, and this picks up where Day In Day Out left off, I think, with its pounding drums. The keyboard jabs here are a bit cheesy for me, but this song is much better, I must say. Bowie adopts a strong and stern vocal again, and you've got the call and dancer vocal stylings here again. But I do like the chorus here, and the guitars are really good, albeit buried in the mix. New York's in love with the way she talks and the way she walks. New York's in love. Goo, 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 goo. This song and this album is undoubtedly flawed, but there's so many really catchy parts that I can't help but sing along to and find great joy in. Whatever Bowie may have said about this album, it certainly sounds like he's having fun with it. 87 and Cry is next, and I must admit, when I was listening to this album recently, I'd completely forgot about this song. It's as if I was hearing it for the very first time. But this is a really good, heavy 80s rock song. Good intro, good riff, followed by that jangly rhythmic part, which is really good too. The pre-chorus is good here. Now, does Bowie sing, well, it couldn't be done without dogs? Well, it couldn't be once without us? Followed by the chant of 87 and Cry. Please forgive my singing, but I have enthusiasm for this album. And again, I must say, Bowie's alternating vocal styles are on display here. Very good. But the play out of this song is really good. I just love hearing guitars screech, and they do here. I think this song was designed to make a noise, and it succeeds. I listened to this album twice in a week, and then I thought about making this video, so I listened to it a couple of more times, and by the end of it all, this was one of the standout tracks for me. Now, if you've got the vinyl copy of this album, the song Too Dizzy is next. Now, I grew up with the CD copy of the album, which doesn't have this song on it. Apparently Bowie was embarrassed by it and wanted it omitted from future pressings. Booming drums again and plenty of saxophone. The chorus doesn't quite pack the punch that I hoped it would, but I do like those ba-ba-ba harmonies. They're really good. Like a lot of the material on this album, this is up-tempo, catchy, good chorus. I certainly wouldn't have omitted this song from the album altogether. I certainly like it more than Day In Day Out. And the song Bang Bang closes the album, which is a cover of an Iggy Pop song. Bowie introduces the song by saying, now, this ain't the right thing to do, so let's go. Let's go indeed. This has a great forward motion, driving tempo. Young girls, they know what they're after. Young girls, don't kiss me goodbye. I love the repeated chant-style vocal of bang bang in the chorus with the female backing vocals too. Bang bang! I got mine. Sounds great. Love the harmonies throughout this song, and they're a real feature throughout this album. Really good. And Bowie's hurried vocal ad-libs on the outro of the song, they're really good too. I said at the start of the video that I remembered this album having 3 really good songs. Well, they were Time Will Crawl, Glass Spider and Bang Bang. For me, this really closes the album in style. So there you go. If you've got the CD copy, 10 tracks. If you've got the vinyl copy, you get 2 Dizzy as well, 11 tracks. But Never Let Me Down, 1987. It's good. And 2 years after the album's release in 1989, in an interview with Q magazine, David Bowie spoke about Never Let Me Down, and he said, I quote, "I thought it was great material that got simmered down to product level. I really should have not done it quite so studio-ly. I think some of it was a waste of really good songs. You should hear the demos from those albums. It's night and day by comparison with the finished tracks. There's stuff on the 2 albums since Let's Dance that I could really kick myself about. When I listen to those demos, it's, how did it turn out like that?" Well, I'll certainly agree that there's some really good songs here. Now, if you're not a big fan of that 80s production, that bang and clatter production as I like to call it, then maybe this album won't be for you, but I rather like it as it is. I accept that some albums were made in the 80s and, well, they sound like they were made in the 80s. We work with the technology of the time, right? But vocally, I really think that this is one of Bowie's best albums, purely vocally. His range and stylings across this album, they're fantastic. And there's some really great performances across this album from the musicians that David Bowie brought in, especially Carlos Alomar on guitar and Peter Frampton, as I mentioned earlier. There's lots of different stylings from track to track, and these are interesting songs. Bowie also said of this album that if you take away Let's Dance and Tonight from 1983, 1984, then this album would have been a more natural progression from Scary Monsters from 1980. Read into that what you will. But I really like this album. I certainly wouldn't be without Time Will Crawl, Zeros, Glass Spider, 87 and Cry, nor Bang Bang. This is one of those albums that suffers greatly due to a repeated narrative. It's rubbish. The 80s production is far too heavy. It's no good. It maybe suffers because it didn't have a big hit single attached to it. I think Day In Day Out only got as high as number 20 on the UK charts. An album like Tonight will be talked up more so because it had a couple of really good singles attached to it in Loving the Alien and Blue Jean, but I think Never Let Me Down is much better than that. But I always say ignore the well-worn narrative and go back and give this album a listen with fresh ears and let me know down in the comment section below what you think. Anyway, I've probably spoken for far too long about a David Bowie album that no one gives 2 shits about, so I'll sign off here. But as always, I'd like to thank you so much for stopping by and watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all for my next video sometime soon. Until then, bye for now.